97 Won the Tickets Facebook page. You're looking live at the studio. Everyone got their best face on today. This is pretty much all you get. Sorry. This is it. But if you go to 97 Won the Tickets Facebook page, you can see us doing our show live, as we do every day at this time. We're talking about I was in Grand Haven, broke a tooth. No big deal. But have you been on vacation and you had to go to a hospital? You had to seek medical help, especially if you're in another country. That would be scary. Let's go to Leanne and Howell. You're on 97 Won the Ticket.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
We were in La Maddalena, Italy on vacation, and my 10-year-old son developed a severe stomach pain, and he at the hospital there, it was really remote, but they said that he had appendicitis, but we couldn't understand anything that the doctors were saying.
Your son, he's got the appendicitis. Did they say it like that? Or?
Well, no. They just were pointing. They were pointing, and then as they were like pressing on his right side, we realized what they were saying, but it was all through hand gestures, and then it was very scary because I thought that they were going to operate, but they didn't. They hooked him up to this glass IV bottle. Not anything like in America there was no pump for the IV, and they gave him antibiotics. But it wasn't until an American military person who also came into the hospital for something that could speak, they spoke Italian. They were able to translate for us because we had no one. We were there 2 weeks, and when that military person came in, they were our saving grace because they finally we were able to get answers from the doctor.
So for 2 weeks, you weren't entirely sure what was going on. I don't know that I would have let that go 2 weeks.
No. Yeah, that was scary. It was really, really scary.
Could have been deadly.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, your appendix. If you don't act on that fast, it can kill you. Bob and Howell, you're on 97 Won the Ticket.
Good morning. I got a story for you about my best friend and neighbor, Rich. He went off on a 3-day salmon fishing trip. Day one on the water, and his tooth started hurting like crazy. He didn't want to go back, and he didn't want to disappoint his friends that had gone with him. So he took a pair of pliers out of his tackle box and pulled his own tooth.
Oh!
Rich is insane. Which tooth was it?
It was one of his molars. It wasn't easy to come out. Well, here's the funny part. He got home and went to go see his dentist.
Yeah.
And he had pulled the wrong tooth.
Oh, my God. The phantom pain.
So there's another one. Yeah, well, I guess there was an abscess or something, and it relieved the pressure. But he ended up having to lose another tooth besides.
Oh, my God. Did he get any salmon that day?
Oh, yeah. Fish were biting good.
Yeah.
I asked him what would
wasn't.
possess him to do something like that, and he said, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. It was great.
Rich is a bigger man than I. That's for sure. I'd say, guys, let's move the boat inshore.
But I get some medical attention.
Inshore? Yeah. I'm such a boater.
Ticket text. The day before I was leaving for Mexico, my bowels decided they were going to evacuate everything involuntarily.
Before Mexico?
Yeah.
Usually it's once you're there.
I didn't want to waste my vacation, so for half the vacation I was on the toilet. It was miserable. I had a friend who got appendicitis in Peru, had to be flown back to the States to be operated on. Stepped on a hot coal while in the Smoky Mountains on my honeymoon. Had to call my mom to find me a clinic nearby because my phone wasn't pulling any internet in. Had to drive a stick out of the mountains with a 2-inch blister on the bottom of my foot. Drove back up the mountains high on Vicodin, singing she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, and beeping the horn for the toots. Finally, had a week-long trip to Spain. Second day, I sprayed my ankle really badly. Bought a cane, but our tour manager told me I shouldn't seek I shouldn't seek medical help. The leg swelled up like that of a hippopotamus, and I thought I was going to die from a stroke. The stewardess took me back to the back of the plane, massaged my leg for most of the flight, went straight to the ER from the airport, and they said it was the worst sprain they've ever seen.
Wow.
Not
Leach, everybody's guilty.
You know, my favorite part.
According to Leach, everybody's guilty.
Massage action.
Yes.
Stewardess. Although these days.
You never know. By the way, as you know, you might not know, they are going to release 15,000 more emails from Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
Sooner rather than later, to find out if there's more mischievous activity that went on during all that
Don't know what's
stuff.
in them.
Don't know what's in them.
15,000.
But I'll tell you one thing: if there's anything that's really bad in there, she's going to be in a heap of trouble.
Yep.
Heap of trouble. And her opponent, Donald Trump. Here's a list came out with the celebrities who support Donald Trump, and I'm not going to make
probably quite a
Antonio
few.
Sabato Jr.
Yeah, okay.
Chachi.
No, celebrities.
We have Kirstie Alley,
Sure.
Pete Rose,
Sure.
former Yankee Paul O'Neill,
Oh.
Real Housewife Teresa
Giudici.
However you want to pronounce it.
Tila Tequila.
She's still sticking
Donald
around.
Trump is going, no, not her, please.
Dennis Rodman. Well, they were buddies from the show.
He's
That's
my
right.
friend.
Mike Tyson,
Knew that.
Loretta Lynn,
Loretta Lynn.
Lou Ferrigno, Gary Busey, our own Kid Rock,
Yeah, I knew that.
rapper Azealia Banks,
Okay.
Scott Baio, like you mentioned, Wayne Newton, and UFC President Dana White.
Oh,
So he has some support.
he does.
Absolutely.
Those aren't exactly like top of the line celebs.
Well, they'll come out later.
I'm sure there are plenty
Yes,
who
absolutely.
aren't speaking their mind.
Right.
By the way, speaking of celebs and who are, I would assume Arnold is supporting Trump.
I don't know. I haven't
That's a
heard.
guess.
The trail, I didn't see it, but I heard the trailer came out.
Yeah,
for the new
for
one.
The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Which I definitely am going to. I used to watch The Apprentice with Trump. I loved it. I thought it was a great
He was
show.
great
Especially
on
when it
that
first
show.
started. He was. It was great. And Ivanka would come on there
Yeah.
so often.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
College football season beginning this week, really. Cal takes on Hawaii and there are a couple other games, I think. And then Michigan State opens the season against Furman next Friday night. Michigan hosts Hawaii and then their season opener at the Big House. And that Tyler O'Connor was named starting quarterback for the Spartans. I got a little conundrum for Michigan and Michigan State fans. And the answer might be obvious, but the rivalry has, created some really strange, opinions, in my opinion, about how people justify certain things. So here's my question for your conundrum. For either fan base, Michigan or Michigan State, would you rather beat your
Have a
rival,
thumb in your,
but they go to the Big Ten title game, or lose to your rival, but you go to the Big Ten title game? So, for instance, if you're a Michigan State fan,
Michigan's coming to your house.
right, you beat them, but they end up going to the Big Ten title game,
You end up with 2 losses. They have 1, let's say.
or
And their 1 is against you.
you lose to them, but you go to the Big Ten title.
We go to the Big Ten. That's what I want.
I would think either way you'd want to go to the Big Ten.
I would think so too. But hear me out for a second. I mean, this might be very short-sighted.
248-539-9797. What do you think?
Michigan State has owned Michigan for most of the last decade, correct?
Yep, no doubt.
And Michigan fans, whether they want to admit it or not, and are getting a little sick of their neighbors giving them some crap.
And losing.
And losing, right. So I think for this year, maybe, I think Michigan might, I know you want to get to the Final Four, but there's no guarantee you're going to win the Big Ten championship game. Don't you want to beat State just to get that
But
off
if
the
Mich-
list?
I understand that, but I would think they'd want to go to the Big Ten championship because if they don't, they're no better than they were last year.
Depends. Suppose they would beat Michigan State and their only losses to Ohio State, and Ohio State runs the table. Then at least they could say they beat Michigan State.
Sure, but that means they would both be 11-1 at the end of the year, right?
Probably.
So they'd both have 1 loss.
Right. But State would have beaten you.
Well, you're saying, wait, if Michigan beat Michigan State,
Yeah. But didn't go to the
but
Big
didn't go to, well, then they would have to have, well, that wouldn't work out. 248-539-9797.
Just food for thought.
Yeah.
Obviously, most people would want to go to the Big Ten championship game because that's your chance
I would
to get
think.
to the Final Four.
Right.
But this rivalry has taken such a strange path, a different path than most people expected the last decade, that maybe Michigan fans sit there, you know what, let's finally get rid of the green beast and beat them once, and then we'll figure out everything else later.
We've got your chance to win a pair of tickets and pit passes to the Pure Michigan 400. That's August 28th at the Michigan International Speedway. It's campfires, cold ones, and a party that never ends at MIS for the Pure Michigan 400. That's August 28th. Visit mispeedway.com for tickets. We've got your chance to win. We need a contestant, 248-539-9797. We're just talking about college football. And if football is your passion, you know all the players, talking about pro football, all the teams, all the strengths, all the weaknesses. Put that knowledge to the test to win your share of $100,000 during week 1 at DraftKings.com. They're back.